Hello, my loves. Welcome back to the It Girl Mindset. Today, we're diving into a mid-year reset, okay? I know you probably set goals in January and maybe you are crushing every single one of them, and I absolutely love that for you. Maybe you're not crushing them, and maybe you are feeling down, and if you really get honest with yourself, you're honestly frustrated that you thought you'd be further along than you are right now. Each and every and all of those are totally okay. Because today, I'm going to tell you exactly how to lock the fuck in for the rest of the year, okay? Yes, we're halfway through the year, but we also have another 6 months left. I'm going to be honest, I'm kind of crushing my goals this year. But also, I love a mid-year reset to also just get so honest about where am I going? Is everything still in alignment and authentic to me? Even if you are crushing your goals, it's still so important to check in. You want to be able to appreciate how far you've come. And 2, you want to make sure everything is in alignment and you're truly feeling good about everything, right? You can do a bit of an audit. So if you're ready to lock in for the next 6 months, I want to go through my 7-step method so you can lock in and make the rest of 2026 your freaking year. Okay, so let's get into it. Welcome to the It Girl Mindset, where I help you step into the next level version of yourself by mastering your mindset, manifesting your deepest desires, and connecting deeply with your body. It's about becoming the most authentic, radiant, unapologetic, and unbothered version of yourself. Together, we're going to chat about how to unlock your true potential and create a life that feels as good as it looks. If you're ready to become the healthiest, hottest, and most abundant version of yourself, you're in the perfect place. Let's get into it. Step number 1 is radical honesty and life audit. If you are not looking at where you are right now, it's going to be really hard to see if you're actually getting to the place that you want to go. Okay, I'm always constantly auditing and checking my life and looking at what feels in alignment and what doesn't. What feels good, what doesn't. What's something that I feel like I should do and why am I feeling that way? Okay, so what I want you to do is, again, ask yourself all of these questions. Where am I right now? What's been working? What hasn't been working? Where in my life am I doing things because I think I have to, right? One thing I hate is a case of the shoulds. I should be doing this. I should be doing that, right? No, we're cutting that out. Any shoulds are gone. You need to be in alignment with yourself. And in order to do that, you need to let go of other people's perspectives, what other people think you should be doing, even what you think you should be doing. And you should be going deep into your intuition, into your soul, and asking yourself, what is actually real for you? For the life audit portion, I want you to just go in every area of your life, right? Relationships, home, spirituality, career, money, hobbies, right? In each of these areas, what are you doing that you think you have to do? And what are you doing from pure pleasure? What is feeling good in that area? And what's actually not feeling good? When you go into each and every one of those 6 areas, you're going to really understand, oh, okay, wow, this area is what I really need to focus on, right? Like maybe, for example, hobbies. You're like, I don't do anything fun. I'm grinding all day, every day, and I'm not having fun, not only by myself with the hobby, but maybe I'm not putting that much effort into my relationships that I really want to. What you can do is each of those 6 areas, you can rate on a scale of 1 to 10 where you're at. 10 being, oh, I'm crushing it in this area and I'm so happy. And then the 1 being like, I don't even know anything about a hobby or I don't know anything about spirituality, right? Go through each of those to start so you can truly see, okay, these are the places that I really want to set my intention and my focus on, right? Step number 2 is to set goals. So now that you've gotten very honest with where you are, you've also done a life audit of all those areas to see, okay, where do I really want to focus my attention, right? Maybe money. You're like, okay, I'm really grinding my career, but I'm not necessarily seeing the financial abundance that I would like. So maybe I want to set a wealth and financial goal. Or like I said, maybe it's a hobby thing where you're like, yeah, I'm actually not doing anything fun in my life at all. I've been grinding so much. I want to try a new hobby or do something fun and have that as part of my goals. Okay. Maybe one of your goals is finding your dream partner, right? Maybe it is reaching your dream body. Whatever it is, I want you to write that down. So in terms of setting goals, it's really important to, yes, look at the big picture in 6 months. where do I want to be? But if you set 100 goals, your focus is going to be completely split and completely spread out. And you're going to be able to go for it at 30% everywhere rather than 100% in one or two sections. And I just want to be honest, this is something that I really struggle with. I have so many things that I'm excited about and want to work on. But when I spread my focus too thin and in a million different areas, I half-ass everything rather than go all in on one thing. Does that make sense? And this is such a cheesy quote, but it's like where your intention flows, energy goes, right? It's like whatever we focus on, that's the thing that we're going to put the energy in. And if we are spread out too thin, we're not actually going to be able to put 100% into anything. So once you have your 6-month goals, and again, I would pick like, maybe if you have a body goal and that's really high up and you really want to focus on it, cool, do that. If you have a hobby goal or a money goal, again, do that. Pick 2 to 3 goals max. Then after you've got your big 6-month goals, maybe that's lose 10 pounds, maybe that's, fit into a pair of jeans that you've had, maybe that's feel more confident in a bikini, or maybe it's hit 10, 15K months, maybe it's go all in on your side hustle, whatever it may be, write it out very clearly. And when you set goals, it's really important that you know when you're actually going to reach them. Even one of the examples I used is not a good one. Feeling confident in a bathing suit, that is really hard to measure. So you're never going to actually know if you got there or not. So one thing that you can do if you do have something like body confidence, I want you to answer the question, how will I know when I get there? Maybe what will I see? What will I hear? And what will I feel? So you can quantify it in that way if you have something like body confidence and you don't necessarily want to focus on a pant size or losing 10 pounds, right? Because I know some girls get obsessive, aka me. Hi, I used to be this way where I really struggled with my relationship with my body. And when I focus on the scale too much, it actually does the opposite of what I want to do. It just demotivates me and can get me in these negative spirals. So instead, maybe you do want to focus more on body confidence. But again, I want you to be so specific in what do I hear? What do I feel? What do I see? So you can really actually understand when you get there. Because let's just say your goal is to have body confidence in a bathing suit. Maybe you actually are closer than you think, but because you didn't understand what really that means to you, you don't actually know that you're there. Okay, so you can do that with each of these. Okay, we've got our 6 months, hear, see, feel, or quantitative data. Then you're going to break it down into, okay, in month 3, to reach my 6-month goal, where do I need to be in month 3? Then to reach my 3-month goal, where do I need to be in month 2, in month 1, this week, and literally today? That's how nitty-gritty we're getting, okay? And again, I want it to be quantifiable. And this is the thing too. The reason I want you to get so nitty-gritty is not because you have to hit that exact thing every single month or week or whatever. It's just to get your brain starting to truly see the vision, seeing the progression, seeing, okay, if I actually start going to Pilates twice a week this week, imagine what I'm going to feel like in 3 months, in 6 months. Maybe I'll start with once a week. And then next month, I'll get it 2 times a week, maybe for a wealth goal or a money goal. You're like, okay, this month, I'm going to strictly work on my money mindset and just truly focus on how I'm speaking about money. Then in month 2, I'm going to start posting content about my side hustle. Then in month 3, I'm going to start selling, right? Again, it really is unique to you and yourself and your goals, and whatever comes to your intuition, trust that. Because I think so many women, they're like, I want you to tell me what my goal is. And I'm like, actually, I think you should tell yourself that, because you have this internal compass in your brain and in your body, and it's guiding you towards your highest self, towards your future self. So I want you to answer these questions, right? It's so powerful for you to do this on your own. Sit down, get a matcha, or go to a coffee shop. Maybe listen to this one time through, go to a coffee shop, listen to it again, and write down everything as we're going through it. In this step number 2, a very important checkpoint is this authentic to me? And if you are like, I have no idea, Ash, what the heck? How do I know if it's authentic to me? That's okay. I just want you to ask your intuition and be like, why do I want this? Why do I want to start a new hobby? Why do I want to have more fun in my life? Right? Asking yourself these questions is going to give you the answer, is this authentic or is it not? The stronger your why, the easier it is to show up, because it's giving you purpose, right? Yes, looking hot in a bikini is going to give you maybe a little bit of motivation, a little bit of drive, a little bit of purpose. But what's going to give you more motivation and purpose is I actually want to feel really healthy. So I feel energized enough to run a marathon or play with my kids or feel so good every single day so I can work on my side hustle to, launch my program or my app or whatever it may be. Maybe that's the underlying reason, right? Because something physical is only going to get you so far. Same with financial, right? If you have I want to make 20K months, it's like, okay, why? I want more freedom. I want to be able to provide for my family. See how that asking that underlying reason why is giving you so much more purpose and fulfillment. And even though I talk about hot, rich, successful, on the outside looking in, that probably seems very shallow. But for me, it's not. It is actually so deep in what I want for me. And I have my own reasons why, right? Even for me, the reason I want to help you guys get hot, rich, and successful is because I want you to have freedom. To feel confident in your body is the most empowering thing you can do for yourself. To have an amazing relationship with money and to have an abundance of wealth is freedom. To do the things that you want, to live the life that you want, to buy the things that you want, to feel the way that you want. Same with success. I want you to be living in your purpose, doing the things that you want to do because it truly lights you up from the inside out. I don't want you to be stuck in a boring job that you hate. I don't want you to have to show up because you think that you have to. I want you to feel so purposeful in your life, which is why I talk about getting hot, rich, and successful. Each of those is freedom. Freedom to authentically be yourself, freedom to be you. So again, I've got my big why. I've got my own why for myself, and I've also got a big purposeful why to help other women feel that absolute freedom. Your life is being run by beliefs sitting in your subconscious that you never actually chose. If you're living a life that you're okay with but not excited about, that's exactly why. Your beliefs decide how you think, how you act, and how you feel. And they're building the exact life that you're living right now. A brainwashing session is how we change that. 60 minutes, just you and me, finding the one block, running the show, and completely recoding it. When you recode your beliefs about your body, you look in the mirror and feel sexy no matter what phase of your cycle you're in. When you recode your beliefs about money, you spend on yourself without the guilt. Look at your account without your chest going tight and actually feel wealthy. When you recode your beliefs about success, you wake up excited about your life, going after what you truly want with confidence instead of talking yourself out of it. If you want to book a brainwashing session, the link is down below in the show notes. And since you're my podcast girlies, use code POD30 at checkout for 30% off. Okay, back to the episode. Okay, wow, that was a bit of a tangent. But number 3, okay, so we've gotten our life audit down. You've set your 6, 3, 1, and this week and today goals. Step number 3 is identity work. You guys know I love talking about identity because whatever you believe about yourself, you're right. For a large part of my life, probably a third of my life, I thought I was shy. I thought I was mute. I thought I was literally never going to have any friends. I thought I was going to be quiet. I thought I was going to cry when I had to talk to anyone for the rest of my life. I genuinely was like, I'm shy. This is just who I am, and this is what I'll ever be. Okay? There was also a point in my life where I was 30 pounds heavier than I am now, and I genuinely thought I was going to be stuck in a body that I hated forever. This is my words, okay? I believed I was fat, and I thought that was going to be my truth forever. Whatever you believe and whatever identity you take on is what your reality is going to reflect. And look at me now. The mute girl, now has a top 5% podcast in the world. The girl who thought she was going to be stuck in a body she hated forever has her dream body and feels amazing and confident and healthy, okay? Your identity determines your life, which is why I'm probably never going to shut up about it, okay? So I want you to define the identity of the person who has the goals that you're trying to accomplish, whether that's the wealth, the body, hobbies, fun, enjoyment, your dream relationship, whatever it may be. I want you to list out every nitty-gritty detail. And if you're someone who's kind of doing more of a check-in and you're like, I feel really good about my goals and where I'm going and everything like that, with this, I want you to get even more clear on it. Because every time I do a mid-year check-in or even, at the beginning of the year, these are all about getting more and more authentically yourself, okay? You're almost just narrowing your focus. It's like, cool, 6 months ago, I didn't know what I knew about myself now. Now I can narrow my focus even more. I know even more about me, so I can narrow my focus even more. And again, refine each new level at a deeper and deeper level. So again, this is not just like, who is she? It's like, what does she look like? What does she wear? What does she do on a day-to-day basis? How does she feel every single day? Getting so nitty-gritty. It's so funny because I remember I meditate a lot on my future self. I've just recently really deepened my spirituality on a whole other level, which I will be sharing with you guys more about that journey very soon. I'm just like not ready yet, but I will be. But for the longest time when I meditated, I connected with my future self. And my future self is this energy. And I have a picture in my brain of her, and she always had brown hair. She always had my natural color hair. And I think there's part of me, this is another thing that I do in a pattern that I personally struggle with, is I kind of have an all or nothing, I have an all or nothing personality a lot of times, and I think there's pros and cons to it. But example, I think this was 3 years ago, I saw my future self having dark hair. And so I was like, fuck it, I'm going to dye my hair dark. I dyed my hair really dark and it freaked me out. I was like, oh my gosh, like this does not look like me. This does not feel what I thought it was going to feel like based on, what I think my future self was going to feel like, right? And so, because I just drastically dove off the deep end, off a cliff, right? Like I really dove in. Then I got scared and I went all the way back to blonde. And then over time, I've slowly gotten back to my natural hair color. I do have a little bit of like blonde left over still. But anyways, the point I'm trying to make is a pattern that I personally have is sometimes I'll jump off the deep end, but then I'll scare myself and I'll like backpedal. And then I'll slowly get there in my own time. I'm not trying to teach you anything in this moment. I'm just telling you this is a pattern that I have. But it's so interesting because again, I saw myself having the darker hair, but I did it and then I got scared and backtracked. And then now I slowly am getting to this point where I'm like, whoa, like now I'm almost like identical to what my future self looks like. It's just really interesting. But again, with the identity, I want you to get so detailed. Not only what does her mornings look like, but how does she feel in the morning? What time does she wake up? Does she go to the gym? Does she go to Pilates? Does she do both? Because the more that you can picture it in your brain, the easier it's going to be to actually act that way. The easier it's going to be to actually find those opportunities because your brain loves something to focus on and loves something to work towards. But if it doesn't have a clear picture of what that is, it's going to have a really hard time of finding those things that actually bring them in. It's your reticular activating system. Your reticular activating system is constantly filtering information. You're basically telling it what to focus on. So if you're telling it to focus on this super clear picture of what your future self is, it's going to have a much easier time being like, oh, that's the filter. That's the thing she was talking about. See, here's the opportunity. Oh, she wanted to reach her dream body and she was really interested in a Pilates class, but she never found a Pilates studio that she liked. Boom, here, right? I'm saying this because this is me. I've tried to be a Pilates girl for a long time, but if I'm being honest, I have not found a studio in the past. I didn't find a studio that I actually enjoyed. I just recently met a friend named Shay, and she goes to this Pilates class in my hometown downtown, and I'm absolutely obsessed with it. Like, I love the vibes. I love the owner. I love just all the people in there. It's a really small class. And yeah, I love it. And I'm like, oh, this is why I struggled to be a Pilates girly for a while, because I was trying to force it when it actually wasn't the right studio for me, right? Then my brain to open itself up and it's like, oh, here we go. Here's the Pilates studio you're actually supposed to go to and the type of Pilates that you're actually supposed to do. It makes sense why before it wasn't feeling in alignment. What we tell our brain to focus on, it will filter in and out those opportunities. Step number 4 is to define habits. So you want to define habits for each goal that you have. If it's a dream body goal, cool. You're going to list out the habits that you need. And this is the thing too. If you change everything, you're going to change nothing. What you need to do is start small with your habits. If you have 5 habits under your body goal, 5 habits under your money goal, and 5 habits under a relationship goal, oh my God, you're going to feel so overwhelmed trying to change everything at once. That's why it's really important to slowly add them in. And kind of like I was saying before, where maybe this week you're doing 1 Pilates class, and then next month you're going to go to 2 Pilates classes a week. Then maybe you're going to up it to 4, right? Like whatever feels in alignment for you, that's what I want you to do. But start small. But another thing that I like to do too is I think we can get so rigid in our routines. And I'm one of those people too, where sometimes I get so excited and I want to plan everything out. And I am just like, okay, I'm going to have a 10-step morning routine. And I haven't done this in a long time, if I'm being honest, because I use something called a habits menu where I have a list of things that make me feel good. I will say my one non-negotiable is subconscious reprogramming and brainwashing myself. I do that every single day, no questions asked, whether that's in the morning or at night. That's kind of my minimum standard for myself because I actually have a very negative brain that if I don't do this mindset work and brainwash myself to think about the things that I want, I can really easily start to spiral. Really easily. And I know it's like, what? The it girl mindset, right? But no, I actually have a very negative mindset naturally. I have a very scarce mindset naturally. I have to work at it to train my brain to be and feel the way that I want to. I have to take action and do it on purpose. But other than that, I have I've got working out is on my habits menu. I've got my red light therapy mask. I've got dry brushing. I've got meditation. I've got journaling. I have all these things that truly make me feel so good. And depending on how I'm feeling that day, I allow myself to pick and choose what I feel like I need. Sometimes I do have a 10-step morning routine, but sometimes I'm only picking 2 to 3. Sometimes I pick 7. Sometimes I just pick 1. The reason I like a habits menu is because it allows me to not feel constricted. And if there's a day, example, I'm flying to Hawaii tomorrow at 7 a.m., I'm not going to force myself to meditate and journal and go to the gym. I'm not doing that. No. Then if I did have that expectation and then I didn't do it, then I feel guilty for it. And it's like, for what? I'm only putting that guilt on myself. So create a habits menu for yourself. Depending on what your goals are, create habits for each goal, but ease your way into them slowly. Because again, if you're like, I'm going to go to Pilates 5 days a week, and then you start, and then you get overwhelmed, and then you stop. 1, we probably need to recode a belief, but also you're probably just trying to do too much right at the beginning. Okay, step number 5 is your beliefs. Okay, whatever your goals are, whether that's money, body, success, and career, purpose, hobbies, fun, health, whatever it is, why do I not have blank goal? Whatever your goals are, why do I not have my dream body? Why do I not have the money that I want? Why do I not have the career that I want? I want you to list out every single negative limiting belief that comes to your brain. And I want you to be so for real with yourself. Don't lie to yourself here because all it's going to do is hold you back and it's going to come out eventually. Do you think you have to be in a boring job that you hate forever? Do you think that you have to work hard to make money? Do you think that money is hard to make? Do you think that reaching your dream body and losing weight is hard? Do you think going to the gym is hard? Are you afraid of failing? Do you believe that you're not worthy of having the money or the body that you desire? Every single limiting belief, if it pops into your brain, it's there, embedded in your subconscious. And this is why sometimes, truly, I'm going to be so honest, it's hard to see your own bullshit. It's hard to see your own beliefs because they're so ingrained in your subconscious that sometimes you don't even know that they're there, right? You could continue to self-sabotage over and over and over again and have no clue why because it's so ingrained in your subconscious that you don't even know that this fear of failure or this fear of being judged is there. I remember when I wanted to lose weight, I was so embarrassed and I was so ashamed by it because I felt embarrassed for trying and not succeeding. It wasn't even that I was afraid to fail myself again. Yeah, that was maybe part of it. But I also was embarrassed and felt so much shame around what other people would say about me failing. Maybe not even to my face, but what I thought they were thinking about me, which honestly, no one's ever thinking about us as much as we're thinking about us. But still, that's a very real fear, right? So I would self-sabotage. And instead of ordering the salad that I wanted to at a restaurant, I didn't want if everyone was ordering pasta, I just ordered the pasta too because I didn't want anyone to be like, oh, look, she's trying to be healthy. The pain of thinking people were thinking about that was worse than me just ordering the pasta. That's how deep these things can be, right? These limiting beliefs are not like, okay, you have a fear of failure. Okay, it's like, no, these are deep rooted fears. I felt deep shame about my body and trying to lose weight over and over again. And to get even on a deeper level, which I don't think I've ever said this on the podcast, when I would get drunk, I would always eat food. I was starving myself throughout the day. And then at night, And then when we'd go out and party and drink, I would eat everyone's food. I wouldn't just eat my own food. I would eat everyone else's food. And it was mortifying. I felt so much shame that my friends would get mad at me for eating their food. I'd have to go buy them more food. Like, it was this whole shame cycle, and it was horrible, and it was so painful. So I thought that if they saw me trying to eat healthy, they'd be like, oh, just like eat normal food, because then you're going to eat my food when you're drunk again. That is so insanely painful. And this is all at a subconscious level. I was like, okay, you know what? Like, I'm just going to eat the kind of food you guys are going to eat, so you don't think that I'm going to eat your food when I'm drunk again. That's how deep rooted this is. So when you've listed out all your limiting beliefs, and again, I want you to get so honest with what you feel shame, what you feel fear, what you feel guilt about in terms of what your goals are, right? Maybe you do want to make more money, but you're afraid that if you admit that you want to make more money, that's going to make you greedy. And maybe your parents or figures in your life shamed rich people, and you're like, oh, I don't want them to shame me. I don't want them to think that I'm greedy because I want more money, right? Like, this goes so much deeper than just I have a fear of failure, right? There's this deep emotions that comes with this. So write it all down and be radically honest with yourself. And you don't have to show anybody this, okay? If you want to share it with me, of course, I'm always here. I'm always going to hold space for you. But you don't have to show anyone. You can literally burn it after if you want, safely. Very safely. And, I'm constantly working through limiting beliefs, and I'm going to be honest, I don't have as deep rooted negative limiting beliefs anymore because I've done really some of the big ones, right? But I still have wounds around my own worth. I have wounds around my own looks. I have wounds around getting to my next level of wealth, right? I am always working through things, and I'm constantly trying to learn as I go. I'm not talking to you like I'm on this high pedestal and I'm never going to do the work again, right? I've gotten to a very amazing level from doing all this deep work and brainwashing myself and recoding my limiting beliefs. But I also am going through it too, just at a different level. Step number 6 is to recode those beliefs, like I said. So you can do this through repetition, where you're constantly just telling yourself the opposite of those beliefs, right? And that's going to take some time, because when you're just working with the conscious mind and constantly repeating the same things over and over again, it's going to work. It's going to work, but it's just going to take a bit of time, and it's going to take a lot more conscious effort. You can use my signature recoding method as well. You can book a single brainwashing session with me as well. Okay? But again, repetition works. In your phone, in your voice notes, record your affirmations and the opposite of those limiting beliefs. The one thing that the repetition doesn't do, that my recoding method does, is you're feeling the emotion. So if you have extreme guilt about wanting more money, or if you have extreme guilt around wanting to reach your dream body, whatever it may be, you have to feel those feelings in your body too. You have to feel those feelings. If you just try to positive affirmation your way over it, you're not going to actually be able to change how you feel. You have to feel your emotions, and it's uncomfortable and it sucks sometimes. But on the other side, it feels fucking amazing. Okay. Step number 7 is to create a weekly, daily, and monthly check-in with yourself. This can look however you want. It doesn't have to be anything drastic or big, but I do think it's important to just assess, okay, am I doing the things that I need to do? Does everything feel in alignment with myself? And also being so honest with yourself. You can adjust and pivot if you need to, but you have to have a bullshit detector. You can't just say, okay, yeah, no, like this isn't authentic to me, when really you actually have a limiting belief that's holding you back and you really have a fear of failure, right? Are you pivoting, or are you uncomfortable doing the work that it takes to get there? Whether that's physical, taking the action, or internal work, okay? But create some sort of check-in for yourself. I don't want to tell you how to do it, because if you copy me, you're probably not going to be able to stick with it. You got to figure out the way that really works for you. Maybe that's a Notion dashboard. Maybe that's in your notes section of your phone. Maybe that's talking to Claude, right? Whatever works for you, I want you to do it. Checking in, understanding where you're at, where you still need to work on, making sure you're checking in with those limiting beliefs and doing the deep work you got to do, right? I think a lot of people are like, yeah, I'm doing the things, but I'm like, are you? Are you doing the deep internal work that it actually takes to have the things that you want? Because I'm just going to be so honest. Doing the internal work is the cheat code to get you there faster. You can grind your way there. It's not going to feel good. It's not going to feel enjoyable. But if you actually do the internal work it takes to get there, reprogram your subconscious mind, It truly is the cheat code to life, if I'm being honest. Just to kind of recap the steps, step number 1 is radical honesty and life audit. Step number 2 is to set goals. Step number 3 is identity work. Step number 4 is to define your habits. Step number 5 is to look at your limiting beliefs, write them all down. Step number 6 is to recode those beliefs. And step number 7 is to create a weekly, daily, and monthly check-in with yourself. Okay? I'm just going to quickly say a couple other tips that might be helpful for you. 1, look at your human design in astrology. It will tell you how to make decisions, why you are the way that you are. It just helps you understand yourself on a deeper level. Another tip is to find a planner that actually works for you, whether that's Notion, a paper planner, Google Calendar, Claude, whatever it may be. Tip number 3 is to spend time alone and in meditation. Truly just being with yourself, especially if you're confused. If you're like, I don't know what my goals are. I don't know why I want the things that I want. I don't know what my purpose is. I don't know what my next steps are. I want you to spend time alone and get so comfortable being with yourself and asking yourself questions. Whether you want to talk to your spirit guides, whether you want to talk to your higher self, or just talk to your soul, right? Whatever feels good, ask questions. Literally sit in silence, ground yourself. If you need to do some breath work or EFT tapping to calm your nervous system, sit and be with yourself and just ask a question. What's my next step? What hobby should I try? What's my purpose? And just see what comes to mind. You might hear something, you might see something, you might feel something, right? And you also might just know. That's another one. Feel, see, know, hear. I see a lot of visuals in my brain, in my mind's eye. I also just know things a lot, and I also hear things and I feel things. See, we've all got a little bit of all of them. But I see a lot of things in my meditations. Another tip is make mornings sacred to you. Wake up earlier if you need extra time. If you say you're not a morning person, it's because that's your identity. You're attaching onto that identity. You're saying I'm not a morning person when in reality, anyone can be a morning person. If you would have found me in college, you would have been like, oh, Ashley's not a morning person. I am a morning person. Always have been. But because I attached myself to that identity to that in that time period, I wasn't a morning person. Okay. And the last tip is to stop scrolling. I know it's hard. Download Opal, use the free version, lock yourself out of your apps. Okay. It's a time suck. It's a brain suck. It's an energy suck. Go live in the real world. Go and draw something. Go be outside and sit in nature. Go for a walk. Do something other than scrolling. Okay, you are just going to enjoy your life so much more when you're not comparing yourself constantly to people on social media. Okay, my loves, 6 months. That's what we have left. Maybe even a little bit less by the time this comes out. You don't need a new you. You just need to get crystal clear on what's working, what's not, and make a game plan for yourself and do the deep internal work that it actually takes to get there. On top of actually taking the action, right? We're doing the internal work, but we're also taking the action. If this episode was exactly what you needed, please send it to a friend who also needs to hear it. Really helps the podcast grow. I just absolutely love podcasting and being in your ear or on your screen. I love you guys so much. Let's lock in for the rest of the year. Okay, my love. Love you so much, and I'll see you in the next episode.